support in Indian Wells. Look at this. I mean, this was in Australia. Court 6 literally had a line. I know I'm exaggerating, but it went for miles at the Aussie. It was wild scenes there. Allie, can you remember a women's star who gets this type of support wherever she goes?
Yeah, well, Taylor Swift. I mean,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, for sure.
A 21-year-old from the Philippines is achieving something that even world number ones and Grand Slam champions struggle with. She's filling up stadiums, creating buzz online, and leaving tournament organizers scrambling over crowd management. Experts are now debating whether she might be the biggest draw in women's tennis. Not the best player, but the biggest draw. That's a significant distinction. Do you think Alex Eala has become the most thrilling name in women's tennis at the moment? No matter what the rankings say, drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely interested in hearing your views on this.
I'd have to say maybe a little bit of Sonia Mirza. Back in her heyday, obviously the Indian fans took to her and they followed her all around the globe, obviously not to this extent. And I think the ceiling that Alex Eala has is obviously that much higher. And I'm going to bring in a little boxing here because my dad wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose tennis. But Manny Pacquiao.
Good call.
Manny Pacquiao, we saw him when he, was at the top of his game. And alongside Roger Federer, he actually had more prize money. So I think that if Eala, can keep doing well with her tennis, who knows? The sky's the limit on the court, off the court. I mean, she could be rolling in it, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment to digest an astonishing figure. During the pre-tournament press conference for the 2026 Australian Open, Alex Eala attracted a staggering 171,000 views. In comparison, Novak Djokovic managed 80,000. While Aryna Sabalenka only garnered 9,000. Yes, you read that correctly. The top-ranked female player, a multi-Grand Slam champion known for her commanding presence on the court, drew just 9,000 views for her press conference. Meanwhile, Eala's numbers are nearly 20 times that amount. It's clear that no one in the tennis community is viewing this as a typical scenario.
She's got a smile that lights up a room, too, And I remember last year when she beat Iga Swiatek, and she kind of did it with a lot of grace and humility, And it was really, for me, it was terrific to see her take that match and watch her play after that and watch her try to continue to progress, because I like her game. Obviously, she wants to get better than where she is now, than 32 in the world, but she's got a lot of good hand-eye coordination and ability to take the ball early and redirect. But the fan stuff is always fun for me, because whenever you see players from smaller countries, the fans are so passionate when they get up to the top.
It's interesting, Ali mentioned Sonia Mirza. She has nearly 13 million followers on Instagram. That's 5 million more than Carlos Alcaraz, and nearly as many as Alcaraz and Sabalenka combined. So that's how big Sonia Mirza is, was, and will be. But Eala going to be seeded for the first time at a 1,000. To find out who she will play in the second round, check out the draw.
This is what an expert conversation about Alex Eala looks like in 2026. Gone are the usual cautious phrases and diplomatic language filled with vague compliments about everyone being great competitors with bright futures. The dialogue has shifted dramatically. Recently, former ATP players Sam Querrey and Steve Johnson raised a question that many in the tennis community have been pondering. Is Alex Eala currently the biggest draw in women's tennis? Johnson's response was a definitive yes, not a maybe or a she's getting there, but a bold yes. This answer warrants further exploration because biggest draw is a specific term with a unique meaning. It doesn't equate to being the best player or the highest ranked. Rather, it refers to who fills the stands, crashes online ticket servers, and makes event organizers anxious about crowd control long before the match begins. On this front, in 2026, it's tough to argue against Eala's case. Let's revisit Australia, where the initial surge of expert attention truly ignited. The scenes surrounding Eala's matches during the Australian Open were described as wild by onlookers. The queues appeared to stretch endlessly, and the crowds were inexplicable based solely on rankings. Here was a player ranked outside the top 30, conjuring an electrifying atmosphere one typically associates with top seeds in quarterfinals. The Filipino fan base was not only significant in numbers but also boisterous and organized, resembling more of a concert crowd than a typical tennis audience. While passionate nations have a history of rallying behind their athletes, Eala's support has reached unparalleled levels that even seasoned tennis analysts find hard to compare with past phenomena. When asked which women's star garners such unwavering support wherever she competes, one analyst drew a parallel to Sania Mirza, a notable comparison indeed. Mirza enjoyed a dedicated fanbase following her around the world at the height of her career. Instagram following sits at nearly 13. Today, Carlos Alcaraz has around 5 million followers, nearly the same combined as Alcaraz and Aryna Sabalenka. This is what real cross-cultural influence in tennis looks like, and experts are now suggesting that the potential for growth is even greater. A noteworthy comparison made by someone in this discussion was to Manny Pacquiao, indicating the level of influence being referenced. At his height, Pacquiao was one of the most celebrated athletes worldwide, with his matches becoming major events back in the Philippines, often dictating the country's rhythm. During his commercial peak, he reportedly earned as much as Roger Federer in both prize money and endorsements. When analysts draw parallels to Manny Pacquiao, it shows we've ventured beyond the usual comparisons. It's important to note that these aren't casual fans making such comparisons. They are seasoned former players and analysts who have dedicated their careers to understanding the sport. Now, let's delve into what's actually fueling this phenomenon. The support from fans is not arbitrary. It stems from a distinctive blend of factors that Eala represents, creating an unprecedented scenario within the sport. First, her story is particularly engaging. She trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy, honing her skills in Spain while away from home and immersed in one of the most intense competitive environments in the sport. Eala progressed through the junior ranks, securing junior Grand Slam titles before embarking on the tough journey of turning her junior success into professional achievements on the main tour, an arduous path where many promising junior players often fade away. The transition from junior star to a significant presence in the WTA can be harsh, and most don't survive it with their promise intact. Eala not only navigated this challenging landscape, but did so in a way that deeply resonated with a fan base that was ready and eager to support her. She beat 8, the reigning world number. One step at a time, this was the kind of outcome that reshapes perceptions of a player. It wasn't just about who she defeated, but the way she carried herself afterward. Her grace, composure, and humility in that moment showed an awareness of her achievement without any need for theatrics for the cameras. Such behavior leaves a lasting impression, fostering a type of loyalty that's genuinely hard to fabricate. Additionally, the market she represents is vast and largely uncharted in the world of tennis. Southeast Asia stands out as one of the fastest-growing regions for sports consumption on the planet. With high digital penetration, strong social media engagement, and a keen appetite for live sports content across the Philippines and nearby areas, this presents a commercial opportunity that global sports organizations have been eager to tap into for years. Eala doesn't just connect with that market, she embodies it in a very visible and personal way. When a Filipino fan tunes in to watch her play, travels thousands of miles to attend a Grand Slam, or eagerly refreshes a page hoping to catch a live stream, it transcends mere sports fandom. It represents cultural visibility at the pinnacle of individual sports. It's about seeing someone who reflects your own background thriving on the world's biggest stages. That emotional connection isn't driven by rankings, it's powered by identity. In the 2026 sports marketing and media landscape, identity evolves faster than almost any other factor. Lastly, her tennis skills are noteworthy. This element is crucial because influence without performance is a fleeting narrative. Eala possesses genuine technical prowess. Her hand-eye coordination is remarkable. Her knack for taking the ball early and redirecting it to alter the dynamics of a point before her opponent can adjust is a genuine asset that coaches recognize. It's not merely showy, it's fundamentally effective, creating challenges that higher-ranked players have found difficult to overcome. As she entered 2026 with momentum, she made significant strides in Dubai, advancing 16 spots in the rankings, career high of number 31 in late. February marks a significant moment as she enters Indian Wells, one of the premier combined events on the tennis calendar, benefiting from a first round bye thanks to her ranking. With a remarkable 106-season record, it's clear she's actively competing, winning, and building momentum. This isn't just another story excited by social media buzz. Her on-court performance speaks volumes, coinciding perfectly with the increasing public interest. Now, what really amps up the intrigue from a business and structural perspective is the buzz from tournament directors in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, who have started comparing her star power to that of Manny Pacquiao. Even Novak Djokovic, a veteran in the sport who has seen it all, remarks that the excitement surrounding her is a good problem for tennis. When Djokovic labels your fan base as an asset to the sport, it signifies that you've climbed to a whole new level as an athlete. However, This rising popularity is bringing about unexpected challenges. Attendance for her matches has exceeded what venues anticipated, creating logistical issues for organizers trying to keep up. A player ranked outside the top 30 shouldn't be generating this kind of demand. As Indian Wells approaches, the expectation is that her Filipino supporters will turn out in droves. A compelling comparison arises between her and what Sonia Mirza achieved for Indian tennis on the global stage. Mirza set the standard for how an athlete from a non-traditional tennis market can cultivate a following that transcends borders and endures long after their career. Mirza's impressive 13 million Instagram followers didn't just come from her on-court achievements. They represent a lasting legacy that extends far beyond her competitive years, best player of her generation, but because she represents something far beyond tennis for a vast and enthusiastic community. As a cultural icon who excels at tennis, her impact is profound. Analysts are asserting with confidence that Eala's potential in this aspect is even greater than previously thought. Recent metrics support this assertion. A press conference attracting 171,000 views compared to Djokovic's 80,000 isn't just a coincidence. It reflects a clear message from the audience about who they came to see. We also need to consider the reality of social media, the platform where the younger demographic, those who will shape the commercial landscape of sports for the next 2 decades, decides whom to follow. Eala is part of a generation that thrives in this digital space, known for short video content and real-time engagement. Her behind-the-scenes access transforms sports moments into shareable cultural events. Her victories circulate widely, and her personality shines through in interviews, making her relatable on screen. An analyst remarked that her smile can light up a room, a compliment that, while it might sound trivial, is significant in today's attention-driven sports media. Warmth and charisma are critical assets that can turn moments into viral hits, distinguishing them from content that fades away. Coco Gauff has set the standard in recent years for what a young female player with mainstream crossover potential looks like, a player who garners commercial opportunities, cultural visibility, and attracts audiences beyond typical tennis fans. According to several analysts monitoring developments in real time, Eala is already generating comparable attention in certain markets and outpacing Gauff in raw engagement metrics in Southeast Asia. That's a noteworthy statement. The gap in rankings is substantial,